you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
Today we're going to introduce Rebel Morrow. So Rebel's an eventing specialist, coach, rider and trainer. She also rode at the 2004 Athens Olympics and is currently riding and competing. How are you today, Rebel?
Good, thank you. Very well.
Good. Now, we normally start the interview off with an inspirational quote or a quote that you often use when you're teaching. Have you got one for us today?
Stay on, keep your legs on. If in doubt, hang on with whatever you've got. No.
Yep.
Inspirational quote. I guess the main thing is to be able to believe in yourself. That's a massive theme for whatever discipline you want to do, believe in your own ability. And that would be the main thing, I think, because, as a coach, you get so many people come to you with so much self-doubt and doubt in their horse or their riding or their ability, and it's just finding that belief in them and the horse that they're riding and the belief in you as a coach to make it all come together. So I think that would be the main thing.
So it's sort of like, as a coach then, it's not just the technical skills that people are after. They need you to be the motivator. They need you to be the confidence builder.
They do. Totally. There's plenty of people that can instruct other people, but then the next step is becoming this coach, the person that they need you for their confidence, for their guidance, that's that next step, and obviously we teach a lot of people. I go to clinics and around, Australia teaching. You can't be a coach to all those people. You can instruct them on the day because you might only see them once or twice a year, but it's more your weekly people that you become a mentor to. I'm saying this because I'm aware that I'm a mentor to a lot of my clients because, I have mentors. I have the guys that I coach. I look for the guy that coached me. I look for them for my guidance in my next step with this horse or where I'm going with my business. And I do love that about my job, that when you go to that next step with someone you're teaching, you become that coach to them, it makes you feel really good.
Yeah. I think that's, people that don't have horses don't understand it's the lifestyle and the quality of life that people want. It's not to do with necessarily the work, the money, anything else. It's the whole lifestyle thing. Yeah.
Definitely not to do with the money. It's definitely not to do with the money side of it. But it is. It is the whole lifestyle, I don't ever feel, parents obviously back me in what I do, but, they just see how much time, effort and money and, I guess, cost of life that I have. But what I do is it's the whole 24 hours, in a day is revolved around the horses. But that's what I want to do. All my thoughts and effort goes into it, and the people that I know, through horses, it's an amazing family. That's where the whole, have such a larger family because of the horse community. It's a very unique thing to be part of.
All right. Now I want you to think back of how you first started with horses, what your first memories were.
First memories, well, I've always had horses in the family. Both my grandparents trained racehorses, and Mum got into performance riding with the Appaloosas. So we've always had horses around because she was a professional herself. And it wasn't until, and we rode the Appaloosas until, I think maybe till I was 11, and then we moved into eventing with the Appaloosas around that time between when I was 9 and 11, and we met Simon Cale, and he got us into the sport of eventing and never looked back since then. So it's always had horses, and I because both my grandparents were racehorse trainers, I had visions of becoming a jockey, but I grew too tall, too heavy, all that sort of business. And then, literally meeting Simon and then moving into eventing, I never looked back from then of what I wanted to do anyway for the rest of my life.
Okay. All right. What do you think then the core skills are to have a career with horses? You've talked about the 24-hour day, but then you've also talked about the family, but to be in that family, to be a professional, to be involved with horses, what are the skills that people need? You know, we're thinking just core skills, just skills that if someone approaches you and they're about to leave school and they're thinking about that for a career, what sort of advice would you give them?
Mm-hmm. I do give them the advice of now that I'm an older person, like to definitely have more of a backing behind you. Like once you leave school, like still getting another profession, not only another profession, but something else to fall back on for money earning. Because definitely from the period that you leave school for a good maybe 10 years, it's a tough gig, breaking into then making it a profession for a life profession for you. Like, so that 10 years after you finish school is money-wise for yourself is very difficult. I definitely advise that people, like kids still do, not just want to go and groom for someone and go straight into horses. I do advise that they do look at other careers and ways of earning money while they're still riding their horses and training their horses and wanting to do that. Because like, as most of us do know, like, when you injure yourself in this sport or things like that, like it's very difficult to keep earning money, like being a professional horse rider. So, and look, when I finished school, I worked at the meatworks in Kilcoy, so I did work, so to speak, a normal job for about maybe 5 years, but that was enough for me then to get a good backing of money to then when I moved down to New South Wales, I started actually grooming for Tasha Hammond, but I could finance myself because of the money I earned through another job prior to doing it. Yeah, so I guess that is my advice, because it is tough, and I'm not going to sugarcoat any of it. Like it is an extremely tough job to get straight into, and earn a living out of. And look, you've got to be tough, you've got to be resilient, you've got to have passion, you've got to have desire, and you've got to actually learn, which is something that I wish I did focus more on. You've got to learn how to be a business person too. It's all good to be able to be a good rider and be a good coach and love horses and be great at what you do, but you actually got to run a business too and do bookwork and do all that other very tedious stuff. And if you're not good at that and you're not good at promoting yourself, and so there's a lot that needs to still be done, and I do advise that now, because, yes, you can't just earn money off just being a great rider. There's so much more involved in this business. So see what age does to you? Age just makes you become so much more aware.
So going back to the riders, when they first leave school, you're saying to basically do both. Don't put your riding on hold. You still keep learning. You still keep riding, competing, do all of that, gain your skills, but maybe have a job just to support your riding.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do advise that.
Yep. Now, what's made it? What do you think you had to get to the level where you're riding at an international level, you're representing your country at the Olympics? What do you think you had above all the other people that aspire to ride at the Olympics?
I look back on my time of getting there, and I mean, yes, it does take, you've got to have natural ability, you've got to have talent, you've got to have the right horse, you've got to have, it's all good timing too, like it's things just, not fortunately, but I was lucky enough that things all fell into place for me at the right time, and there's like a dominoes effect of great things that got me to go to the Olympics, because how quickly things fall apart too, a dominoes effect of your horse going lame, or you're missing that event, you missed that qualifying event, you can't go to that event, you can't get selected, or you're falling off, or but it's just definitely this passion that you have to want to succeed, and there's definitely plenty of times through all of that there was little hiccups along the way that could easily make you put things on the back burner or look for excuses, or it's all too hard, or it's all too whatever. But you do just have to be extremely, extremely tough, and you have to be very realistic in the understanding of how much hard work it does take and the hours that it does take to train to be, a professional in this sport, definitely. There's a lot of luck involved too, a lot of luck.
Okay.
But I'm talking luck as in timing of how things go.
Yep.
Luck's got to be on your side as well.
Is it experience to be more experienced to get the better luck?
Well, you've got to be an opportunist too. Like, you've got to be able to venture out and go out on a limb and, buy that horse or take a trip overseas with that horse or go out on leads, to do that. It's very, like I learned, and I definitely learned this after the Olympics, you can't just sit back and wait for success to keep coming. You actually have to keep hunting that down. Okay. So, yeah, I missed a lot of windows after it, looking back on it now. I've got a lot of regrets on how I ran myself after the Olympics, because, things don't come to you unless you keep searching and striving and looking for that next big break. You can't just sit on what you've done.
Yep.
It's a big lesson that I did learn then, like there's a time to capitalise and I didn't, I didn't enough, and now I'm left with not having that string of horses that I should have been able to keep going on,
Yep.
So then there's a massive break in my career because I just didn't have horses at that level.
Yes.
I mean, I was still working the business because I still had to earn money and all that sort of business, but, I lost that string of horses. Yeah.
Okay. You've talked about Simon Cale, Tasha Hammond.
Yes.
Who else has influenced you?
So, early on, Simon Cale he got us into sport. Like, he was a massive, massive influence, and a very good friend of the family. And then I'm pretty sure from then is how I then hooked up with Tasha and met Tasha. And she's, like, Simon told me when I was a kid, pretty much. And then I started then having lessons with Tasha in my adult life. And so she is the biggest impact that I've had on my riding style.
Yes.
Simon was a massive influence in getting us into this wonderful, wonderful sport. But then to meet up with Tasha and then be educated from her as an adult rider, as an older person, or however you want to put it in that sense. So, yes, my style is very much rolled around her method. I'm very, very grateful to that because it's an amazing way of riding. So, and now her partner, Andrew Barnett, so I get jumping lessons off him, and I'm actually at Andrew and Tasha's now. I've been there for the last couple of months, like training, and because as a coach and as working this business full time, we run out of time to have lessons for ourselves as well because you're too busy teaching everybody else and all that sort of stuff. So, and because I haven't had this good string of horses at top level, I don't get taught on the other horses. And so, I sort of rang them up there that one day. I said, do you mind if I come down for a few months? I need some training. They said, sure. So it's been great. So just to be able to tune my skills up and get me back in the swing of, all the correct things and how just watching how they run their business, and it's a great operation. And, so everybody needs that inspirational tune-up every now and again too. It's Stuart Tinney, Shane Rose, Chris, it's all the guys that are out there doing it. I mean, anyone inspires me that's a winner, that loves this sport, that puts their all into it, that's a great person, like there's numerous people, like even to Fiona Hughes, a different respect, she doesn't ride full-time anymore, but she's out there, she loves this sport, she's so inspirational, so and she just backs this sport so much and puts so much back into it, and that's, I find that inspirational, so numerous people. I couldn't just put it down to a few, but
all right. When people look for a potential Olympic horse, they go to the top breeders, the top studs, the top places. They look for the horses with great potential. I know there's a bit of a story with when you found Groover. So do you want to talk us through that one?
Yeah, well, first got to meet Groover through my dad's shoeing friend, Craig Jones. His wife was a track work jockey and she was riding Groover at the time. And he must have been going to go into one last prep and business like that and then get put out on a spell. And then they said that I could, if he doesn't come back from his spell, or when he comes back from his spell, and he doesn't race well, that they were going to get rid of him. So I got to try him before he went out in the spell, and literally when I went down to see him at the track, he was literally just Racehorse, so I didn't get much of an idea on him, but he looked pretty, obviously, and with his big blaze and all. So then when he went out on his spell, I took him and got him back into work for them, and that was my trial of him, and he was, an awesome dude right from the word go. And then a quote that I've always said, not a quote, but what I've always said is, he might have only been with him about a week, and I started to jump him and just jumped so amazingly natural, such a lovely, you might not remember Groover, but he just had this awesome big open airy jump. Like, it was something that was quite different. And I remember saying to Mum, like, if I was ever to go to the Olympics, this would be the horse that I'd ride. Like I said, it was just looking back on it, it's an odd thing to say, because I'd never started on a horse that'd been to the Olympics, and I'd never been to, so it was just not there to say, and how it all came about. But before he went back to them to re-race him, that's when I noticed he had discharge coming out of his nose, this red, yellowy sort of serum coming out of his nose, and he rolled a lot. He loved rolling, so I thought he must have just hit his head in the blocks, like, and and so when they took him back, they took him to the vets and scoped him, and then that's when they found ethmoid hematomas in his nasal cavity. And then they rang and said, well, this is what he's got. We're going to just send him to the knackery because, to treat this it's an extensive process, blah, 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 blah. And obviously he wasn't a winning racehorse for them, so they weren't. And so I was like, well, I can't have that. So I ended up buying him for $200 from them, which was the sort of going rate, I guess. And so then
going rate for an Olympic horse for $300.
Well, going rate for a horse that they didn't need anymore anyway. So then the process started that I would then. He had to have formalin injected into his head first. They drilled a hole into his skull and injected this formalin into it, which was supposed to start to kill off the ethmoid hematoma, because it's like a growing cancerous sort of thing, like a big blood clot, which was working. It kept it at bay, but it then sort of pushed up and over to the other side, like it was in, I can't even remember now, sorry, but it was moving the left side first, and that's what we were treating, but then it grew up and around into the other side. So then they actually had to open his skull up. Like and actually just tonight Tasha gave me some photos, and one of them was one of poor old Groover with the staples in his head from where he had his skull opened up. Yeah. But look, and he had to have his head opened up 3 times, I think. And when it comes to about the second time to redo it, and Nick Canagita is the surgeon. He's quite a very renowned surgeon. He treated Groover, and he said, this is pretty extensive stuff. Like, is it something that you want to keep doing? He says, because I can't give you any guarantee that it's going to stop. And so I was literally sort of saying, do we keep going with it? Do we not? And I was obviously in dire straits about the whole thing. But then he said to me, he goes, a horse wouldn't have gone through what he's gone through if he's not going to be a survivor. It's such an extensive operation, and they lose so much blood. He said he's such a tough horse. He says, let's give it one more go, because he says he's literally said he's meant for great things. He's survived a lot so far with this. Yeah, so we did the operation again, and then he had no more trouble with it for the rest of his time. Like, I had to keep getting him scoped to make sure nothing was regrowing. But the good thing about it was he only sort of had to have maybe a month off after each operation, but I could still ride him because it was only in his head, and he had his staples in and all that sort of stuff, and so it wasn't his legs or any injury that you had to rest him on, so I actually could keep him in light work the whole time, so he could still actually progress with his career without having these huge gaps off with the operation. So it's a massive ordeal. Like, if I was ever fronted with it again, early on with a horse, you wouldn't go through with it unless it was because it's pretty full on. I mean, it would easily have cost me about $15,000 with all the operations. Wow. Like, it was quite extensive, but
lucky for that job at the meatworks, hey?
Well, there you go. Lucky for that, because that was literally when I was still grooming for Tasha when I had Groover. When all that was still early days. So literally, I think I sold my car too at the time. All that sort of stuff to pay for that, and that. But that's what you do. Like, that's just all part and parcel of it, and no regrets of any of it, no regrets in any way. Like, but what I gained out of having him,
What's your proudest moment then?
Look, I mean, going to the Olympics is definitely, the proudest moment. Definitely was. Like, just everything associated.
I thought you'd say that, but I just had to ask.
No, everything associated with that, and I mean, but you can even just say the process of leading into even going. Like, I remember winning the bareback high jumping down at Albury on Groover when he was just a 2-star horse. Like, there's just so many moments that just revolved around that horse and going places that it's definitely him. Like, he is my proudest moment because he made my name what it is today. You know, I'm sitting here having this interview with you because of that horse. So he is my proudest moment. So literally all the time, with him.
Okay, now what I'd like you to do, because you do quite a lot of coaching, is to think of some common problems that people have with their horses, but also how to fix them. You know, because people listening are there's a lot of people that might have those problems or that problem, but they also want to know how to fix the problem, what to look at, you know, what they need to do to help fix the problem.
Help fix the problem. I guess the biggest problem that everyone would have is just how to, getting a straightness in a horse is the hardest task, to have your horse straight on the flat, to have your horse cantering straight, travelling straight, to travel to a fence. So that is literally, I think, the people understanding the concept of how to get their horse straight is the toughest thing. And, I mean, how to fix it, how to do that, I mean, that's a tough one to say over the phone because, I mean, whether you're going left or right on a horse, there's different ways to position them, each horse, to you have to position them to get them straight. You know, every horse is different. Whether you're riding a horse off the track, they'll come off the track with oddities in how they travel, like literally that horse could be moving in 5 different directions, but you're on one horse, but you literally feel his head, his neck, his shoulders, his barrel and his quarters all go a different way, so to straighten all that up does take, this different adjustment. And then, a horse can be crooked just because the rider holds the left rein more than the right, or they drop their right shoulder, or, just things like that can make that horse be uneven and not straight. So how to fix it, I mean, that is tough. There's just so many different elements in it, but working on how to actually ride your straight, it's very easy to ride a horse crooked, to ride a horse sideways and all that. It's very easy. But to ride a horse straight, that is the key. That is the key to a lot of problems. Like just even for people to travel to a fence, and a lot of people worry about jumping, getting this right spot, getting the correct takeoff distance. To have your horse straight coming into a fence, it doesn't matter whether the distance is, a deep distance, a faraway distance. But if the horse is straight, the horse will always, not always that, but the horse will definitely be able to sort the distance and jump better and that. But if they're crooked, they'll go sideways, they'll drift, they'll twist, and the landing will be awkward, then the departure will be awkward, then the new approach to the next fence. So straightness is one of the biggest things, that's the key to getting that one sorted,
Okay, so we've got the straightness as the problem. Sounds like the identifying why the horse is crooked needs to be identified before you go about fixing it. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, look, it doesn't take a coach that long to work out where the crookedness is coming from. Yep, to identify. And a lot of horses can be crooked because there's unsoundness issues in them, like they could be weak in the back or just anything like that can make them not want to go straight. They might be crabbing because of those different sort of things, not being able to travel straight with their quarters. But that's where you need a professional, a coach, to be able to help identify that and treat it or,
Okay. Oh, hang on a sec. Let me interrupt to let people know about the horse industry qualifications at onlinehorsecollege.com. If you have a look at the flexible options, there's online theory with practical components that can be completed by video or with a qualified expert in your area. That website again is onlinehorsecollege.com. Thanks. Now, we're talking about off-the-track horses, just a bit of advice for someone who is looking at an off-the-track horse. You've said that with Groover, he had a big scopy jump, but you had the opportunity to trial him beforehand. What are we looking for a horse, a bit of advice for people buying a horse off the track? What do you think the main priorities are?
The main priorities, I guess, being able to look at their conformation, have an idea of, what a good conformation is, how their legs ideally need to line up, the angles of their back legs, where they're positioned underneath their body, and are they long in the back, to avoid horses that are quite long in the back. I mean, what we do anyway is so straining on their sacroiliac, and so many race horses come off the track already quite weak and, injured in the sacroiliac. So I think that's a big thing that has to be identified, to see whether that weakness can be corrected with physio and with treatment, because a lot of horses definitely, which I'm found now, like more, that a lot of horses are failing with that in the sacroiliac coming off the track. Like it's such a tough sport that, on their feet, like to really have an idea and a knowledge about a horse's feet, what you're looking for there. Because, so many problems. 99% of the problems definitely come from the feet and work up. So just having those sort of things, a bit of knowledge about that when you go to look at the horse. You can even do your own little assessment when you're there of a flexion test, and then trotting them up off that. And standing in front of them, having someone trot it towards you, seeing how their front feet land, if they're paddling, and you can definitely do your own little assessment. But walking the horse out, seeing its quality of its walk, like if the horse has got a lovely long stride, like a lovely over track in the walk, that's a good sign, But yeah, people need to really do a good assessment of them because there's so many horses that are coming off the track now that are quite hindered from their racing days, definitely.
Okay. Just thinking about the horses that you've got in work. Have you got horses down where you are now at Tasha's place?
Yes, I do. Yes.
How many horses do you have in work?
I've only got 2 down with because last time I was down I had 6, but I've sold of them, so I've just got 2 other horses of other people's that are with me now just to finish off these last couple of events.
Okay.
But yes, I'm working with Andrew and running some of Andrew's horses and things like that. So, but I've only just got 2 down with me at the moment, which is great.
Okay. So just when you're riding horses for other people, what sort of, if you can explain a bit about the responsibilities, communication with the owners, just a bit about, because if people dream about it, people dream about someone else picking up the bill. That's the dream of a rider that wants to be professional. I've got all these expenses. Right. It's so expensive competing horses. I just want to have sponsors and I just want someone paying all the bills. So what can you say about the responsibilities that you've got to have before you can get owners, before you can get people paying you to ride their horses, and then once you've got those horses, what sort of ongoing communication you need to have with the owners of the horse?
Every owners are different. Like some owners want or need to be kept up to date weekly. Some owners, and this is knowing your owners of what you need to give back to them, and some are happy just for an update every, after the competition, or a rough update of when you're going to this competition, or some of them don't even. Yeah, so I guess it's knowing what your owners want out of it because, like just one of them doesn't need me to call every day. Like it's not like that at all. He puts full trust in what I'm doing and he doesn't need me to explain it to him every day because that's why he's given me the horse, because he already has or sees what I do, so he doesn't need to be kept in the loop with it all the time. But look, the big thing is to keep an owner, to look after your owners is just be totally transparent and honest with the ability of that horse that you're riding. If you don't feel like that horse is going to be the superstar, he needs to be taken to the level that he's comfortable at and and sold on, or sold to where he's going to suit that next person or whatever. So then, because the owner is backing you and wants great things from you, then you find that next horse that is going to go that next level. Or I guess it's just having that good communication with your owner to know what they want out of it. And some owners just are happy for that horse of theirs just to go around pre-novice and not have to go any higher. They just like the whole actual social side of it, of you riding their horse. And there is a lot in that. So I guess it's just knowing exactly what your owner is investing in, whether it's just the social side and the fun of it and enjoying to go to the shows and you might get a ribbon, or that owner wants you to take that horse to the Olympic Games or look for bigger things, for the return of how much money they're putting into it. Because it's a very expensive thing to have someone pay you to ride a horse. So, there's a lot invested in it.
Okay, and what about sponsors? It's another dream. I'll just want sponsors to pay all the bills for me. But what do you have to do or be before a sponsor approaches you, and what do you have to give back to the sponsor?
I think, sponsors want, obviously, yes, you have to be very good out on show and you have to perform well and look good out in the public eye. But the couple of like Rose Hip Vital that have just come on board in the last few months, they contacted me just out of me being not a nice person in public. That's how do I put it across. But they liked my public appearance, you know. They like how I am when I'm at competitions, you know, how people are attracted to you and want to talk to you. And the feedback they get is of people talking great about my mannerism to other people and around other people. And, you know, and then, I'm also she rides really well and she competes really well. But so they've come on board out of a different aspect straight up just of my personality, you know, and they want someone also to be able to promote their product, not only by my, you know, my accolades of what I've done, but also that I'm an approachable person, that someone can easily walk up to me and say, how are you going, Joe Blow off the street, and I can talk to them, you know, in any fashion in that way.
Yep.
So that's what sponsors do want, someone that can be that approachable person that can talk about their product. So it's not this person that can't talk about it, but you might look good in all the gear. You might go out and win, but they want the general public to be able to come up and approach you.
Yep.
That's what they do want, to have you to be able to easily communicate at any level to anybody that you're speaking to. So I think that's a big one. And yeah, look, I mean, these days with Facebook and Instagram and all that sort of stuff, it does make it a lot easier for us to, because again, like paperwork and all that sort of business is a tough thing because that has to be done late at night once you finish your day's work and you're very tired, so it's hard to then report into sponsors. But with, you know, the media today, with how easy it is to be able to put stuff on Facebook and Instagram, like to always promote sponsors, it's great. It's great for us now. Like stick up a photo and you can tag all your sponsors and everyone, you know, the public has to see that so quickly. So it does make it a hell of a lot easier for us now to be able to promote them out there like that, not just on our trucks or not just with what I'm wearing, you know, when I'm out teaching and competing.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, I think that's good. That certainly shows then that you're representing the company.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Now, what are you looking forward to? I mean, you know, you've been down with Tasha and Andrew for a bit and now you're on your way home.
I will after the Wallaby Hill 3-day event in December.
Okay.
I'm going to head back to Queensland, but then I'm heading over to New Zealand actually for a little bit of a break. And a good friend of mine, Simone Khan, she used to live over here in Australia, but she's based over in New Zealand now.
Okay.
So I'm going to head over there and spend a few weeks with her over Christmas. And then, I'm looking forward to, like, when I come back for next year, that I'm going to head over to America. I'd like to duck over there and check out the scene there for a little bit to see whether it's something that, you know, would be, again for more experience for me. I'd love to go over there and train in America and learn some more things and be around new people.
Yep.
So, I was thinking of sussing that out at the start of next year, actually.
Okay.
It's the first time in my life I've not got any of my own horses. I've sold them all and I'm actually horse-free apart from the owner's horses that I have at present.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a change for me next year.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds good. We'll have to stay in touch about that. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just summing up your philosophy into a lesson today, you know, just so a bit of a sum up of what we've talked about so that people can take it away and, you know, think about it during the day and learn from it.
Bit of a sum up of what we've spoken about.
What we've spoken about, but, you know, your philosophy in general. You know, you started off with talking about your favourite quote and believe in yourself, be confident, you know, be motivated. But you tell us what, you know, because it's a bit like parting words. Just remember this to the listeners.
I think the believing in yourself with this sport is a big one. Like, look, I don't even think it's this sport. I think it's all sports. It's in all aspects of life, you know, like there's so many people there to congratulate you, but there's so many people there too to sort of the tall poppy syndrome or pull you down even when you're being successful, you know. So I think that's where you do need that mentor, that coach, that person that you have to always have your back and let you know that you're doing a good job or, you know, keep going with this. I see, you know, down the track that this is going to happen for you and this is going to be, you do need that person. Like just the other day, not the other day, but, you know, a couple of months ago, say I did some work on a horse of another client, you know, and it was a bit of a tough job in that sense. And I had that horse down with me with Tasha and Andrew. And, you know, Tasha rang me when I sent the horse back and it was the end of its time with my training. And she said, you know, I'm just letting you know you did a really good job on that horse.
That's good, isn't it?
You know, And it was nice to hear that because, you know, I let my students know, or, you know, that you're doing a really good job on that horse, you know, and people, and I'm not saying it to make them feel good generally just to make them feel good. I'm letting them know they've done a really good job on it. You've done a great job in your, you know, just, and people do need to hear that. Like, and when Tasha specifically rang me and said, I just want to let you know you've done a great job on that horse. You'd really, you know, I was like, I'm 40 years old, and I went, thank you. You know, I feel just, because she's my mentor. She's coached me for like a good 20 years now. And so I think it's finding that person because, you know, I trust Tasha and Andrew, you know, like if I ask for direction of them, I don't then I don't question that, or I don't have to go and ask someone else because I believe in what they say because they're my mentors. And I think we all need to find that person, and everyone needs reassurance. Everyone needs someone to give a pat on the back. We all do. So I guess that's my philosophy in that sense of believing in yourself, you know, because, and this one girl I was teaching, like a great person, we got on so well, I really enjoyed her, but at one point through, I taught her so many times and I just wasn't getting across to her, and I sort of said to her this one day, I said, you know what, I think the problem is you just don't trust me, you know, and it's not that you didn't like me and never that, it was all really cool, but I just said, you just can't let go and you just can't trust me. You know, when I say, you know, come onto that fence and put your left hand forward, I'm just making this up now, you know, you can't do that. There's always something that's always pulling you back, and you can't just do it because I've said, because you trust me. And I said, I'm not taking it personally. I know it's not because you don't like me or believe in what I'm saying, but you just can't go that bit to trust me. And there's a lot involved in what we do of trusting that person that's giving you that guidance. So I said, look, I'm not benefiting you because you need to find someone that you can trust, you know, because I'm not being able to help you because you can't just let go in that sense. So I think finding that right person, is very important in anyone's progression to whatever level, to whatever they want to do with horses.
I think that's a good takeaway for people to think about. Yeah. Now, Rebel, how can people contact you?
I guess, over Facebook's easy, on my athletes page, my email address, my phone number's out there pretty much, you know, it's pretty easy to track down, so I'm pretty easy to contact.
Okay.
Not that many rebels around, not that many rebels.
Those contact details will be on horsechats.com/Rebel Morrow as well. Yep. All right, been great talking to you today. Hopefully we'll talk to you again sometime, and, you know, certainly in, you know, when you're in New Zealand and the US, with the wonders of the internet, we can still catch up.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure I'll leave a paper trail of what my experience is in New Zealand, because anything that's rolled around Salon Carn's always entertaining. So it'll be good fun. There must be some big horse show jumping show on over there before Christmas. So I'm looking forward to that. She's got me a couple of horses to ride, so I'm sure that'll be entertaining.
Good. You're such a horse person, having a break and going to a horse show.
Well, that's it. But she said it can be a working holiday for you. I said, yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Good to talk to you.
No problem.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, wait, before you go, if you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now. Have a look. horsechats.com.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.